Nigerians, Tinubu must not see this video, abeg, because wetin this man just expose, this man you guys are seeing in this background, wetin he just expose for this interview wey just glance a few seconds ago. I no go lie, make President Tinubu hear that, because President Tinubu fit arrest this man o if he hear wetin this man dey expose for inside this interview. Make una come hear this man im own reaction for so many questions wey be like say dey ask am for inside this particular video about the happenings in this country. But na wetin he come talk at the ending of this particular video about Peter Obi, na wetin shock me. Make una share the video because this video need to go viral.
So that we have a country to protect. And once the institutions of democracy are gradually destroyed, we lose the country.
All right, let's look at what political commentators are saying about this judgment. They've described it as a strategic move to muzzle the opposition and destabilize the opposition space. Who do you believe will be the beneficiary of this kind of judgment?
The ultimate beneficiary of this kind of judgment is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. His hope, and I can guarantee you that hope will be hopeless eventually. His hope is that he will not be facing a formidable opposition candidate in the next presidential election. I give you classical examples. Peter Obi has been hounded from Labour Party to ADC and now to NDC as we speak. Just very recently, the ADC was deregistered and re-registered almost within a week. So you see a systematic attempt, a war of attrition to degrade opposition voices and opposition elements. Even those of us in the activism space. Justice Crack had reported the objective living conditions of our troops in the front line. The guy was kidnapped here in Abuja, in an operation that plausible deniability can be maintained, because these guys did not wear any uniform. They even lied to him that they were from the DSS, only for us to find out later that they were members of the Counterintelligence Command of the Directorate of Military Intelligence. Shamefully so. Until today, no one has come to apologize. Keep in mind, they were not after those who took the money meant to feed the soldiers. I mean, our soldiers were not eating well. You did not target those who took that money, who misappropriated that money. You did not deal with those. Your focus was on the person who reported it, a citizen journalist, a videographer. That was your target. And it is disgraceful to the extreme. And you see, this government has come to the ultimate conclusion that they are unre-electable. No sane Nigerian will cast his vote for this government. They do their polls all the time. They do it all the time. And they have come to that conclusion that they cannot win a fair game of election. So they must invent chaos. Look, I give you an unconventional example. You see, when lunatics are running the show, when someone who is crazy takes your phone and is running, a lunatic, someone who is actually a lunatic, if you want to retrieve that item from that lunatic, he will want to bring down the roof of this house. The whole idea is not because he's more powerful than you. The whole idea is to scare you so that you just say, well, I'm a decent man. How can I dress like this and be dragging with this rather crazy person? And that is exactly what we are facing. They have embezzled the country. They are looting right, front, left, and center. Our budgets are unfunded. Some are defunded. A whole Ministry of Health, 36 million. That ministers are now crying. The spokesman to the president had come on TV to say that ministers are running ministry with their personal resources. And these people claim that they remove subsidy and they have more resources, but they cannot run ministries. Ministries run with the minister's resources. I'm quoting the presidential spokesman, no less personality. And then at the end of the day, you see that these people have come to that conclusion that they cannot win. Because they cannot win, they must pull down the house. They must create chaos. They must discourage Nigerians. Look at the numbers. Mr. President met 87 million multidimensionally poor Nigerians. As we speak today, 140 million multidimensionally poor Nigerians live in Nigeria. I said it on a sister station that there are 35 million acutely hungry Nigerians. Hungry. Like people who wake up in the morning, don't know where the next meal will come from. 35 million. If we form a federal republic of hungry Nigerians and make President Tinubu president of the Federal Republic of Hungry Nigerians, it will be the same size as the country of Ghana. It will be bigger than the country of Benin Republic. It will be half the country of South Africa. It will be bigger than the country of Rwanda. It will be 40% the country of United Kingdom. That is the number of hungry people in Nigeria. And those of us who are pretending to eat, it is 001, 100, 101, 000 sometimes, if you know what I mean. So the crazy people are running away with our country, and we must match them at that level, retrieve our country, fix our country, rebuild our military, retool our police, so that our military is respected again. Our country is no longer respected again. We've lost 4 generals within 6 months. 4 generals. Ukraine, that has been fighting the second most powerful military in the world, has not lost 4 generals this year. Nigeria has lost 4 generals. Under this government, we've had 13 school kidnappings, 13 in 3 years. Do you know what threw Jonathan out of office? 1 school kidnapping in Chibok. 1. That was enough for Jonathan to leave office as president. But under this government, we've had 13 in 3 years. For context, his predecessor was also an APC president, had 15 in 8 years. Under this government, we've had 13 in 3 years. And the way it is going, they'll probably quadruple that number before we leave, if they, God forbid, they manage to retain office. God will not allow that. So Nigerians must retrieve their country. As we speak, sir, there are 40 children in the bush in Oyo State. There are children in the bush in Kwara State. There are people in the bush in Kaduna State. There are people in the bush in Edo State, where I come from. Paying of ransom is now official policy of government. People now come on TV to describe how they paid ransom. No less personality than the former special advisor to the president on political, Hakeem Baba Ahmed, described in vivid terms how they paid ransom to retrieve his cousin who was kidnapped in Kaduna. I know of 2 individuals from Edo State, 2 doctors, 2 sons of the same parents that were kidnapped. We lost 1. The second one, I was somewhere in 360 in Benin. He walked up to me and said, you once talked about me in a podcast. I was the person who was kidnapped. He showed me his leg that he still had bullet wounds in his leg. His leg was still bandaged. This is the people, they've run our country to the ground. And then they claim that, where will President Tinubu campaign in 2027? Where? Is it in Edo, where I come from? Although the governor is kidding by saying he will give the president 2.5 million votes, which is another form of craziness that I have never seen in my life. In 2023, total number of registered voters, 2,250,000, about. But my governor wants to bring out 2.5 million votes from 2,250,000 registered voters. So we will need about 250,000 ghosts to vote. That is assuming that everybody living in Edo votes for Tinubu. I have told him before, and I am saying it again. The first state that President Tinubu will lose in Nigeria will be Edo State. And anybody who attempts to rig Edo's election for Tinubu will have to go through Edo people. At the appropriate time, we'll go back home and have a conversation with our people. At the appropriate time. So these are the issues. When you have a government that is this abysmal, they will go through every means to bring down our democratic culture, even if it means collapsing the democracy from its seams, and then just find a way to hold on to power, even if they are doing it on top of the ashes of the country that they've burnt to the ground.
Who do you think is the primary target of this judgment?
Mr. Peter Obi.
Why do you think so? What of Atiku Abubakar?
Whereas I don't want to discuss other opposition elements here, but it is quite clear. Let me put it in vivid terms. Why is Mr. Peter Obi? Mr. Peter Obi contested election under the Labour Party in 2023. And INEC declared that he had 6.1 million votes or thereabout. Although some of us know that Mr. Peter Obi won that election comprehensively, there are at least 2 states in Nigeria where he won that the result was manipulated for another person. A good example is Rivers State. Obiakpo local government result was on INEC portal and Peter Obi won. But they declared it for someone else. Obiakpo is the local government of Minister Nyesom Wike, the minister of Abuja, the landlord of Abuja, as they infamously call him. Another example was Benue State. Mr. Peter Obi won 15 local governments in Benue State. Tinubu won 8. But by a stroke of magic, the man who won 15 lost to the man who won 8 in Benue. We can go on and on and on. After that election, INEC declared 6.1 million votes, allocated 6.1 million votes to Mr. Peter Obi. From a day after that election till today, Labour Party never recovered from the crisis that they instigated in that party. As a matter of fact, the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, pronounced that the Peter Obi's faction, if I can call it that, the Peter Obi's side of the Labour Party was the legitimate side of the Labour Party. INEC refused to recognize them. I'm talking of Nenadi Usman-led National Working Committee. INEC refused to recognize them. Until Peter Obi left, 2 weeks later, INEC recognized them. Then comes the ADC. The day Peter Obi stepped into the ADC, it did not take a week before a man who had signed his resignation, a man who by himself, who was not high on grass, signed his resignation, all of a sudden said he didn't sign his resignation. With a certified true copy presented to INEC. He said he did not resign again. And our court listened to that kind of folly. And the man became a problem. And then came several other litigations against the African Democratic Congress. Having seen that they were determined to set the house on fire, and like he would say, they want to set the house on fire, so I will not be there. He left and went to the NDC. The NDC was a clean party. No litigation. As a matter of fact, the day he joined the NDC, he said, there is no litigation. Carry all your litigation and go. We don't have any problem here. There was no pending court case in the NDC. There was no argument about the validity of the NDC. Only for this manufactured court case. As a matter of fact, the PMP listed one of the national officers of the NDC that is not even aware that his name has been put on court papers. And several other things that even the naked eye can see. So the ultimate target is Mr. Peter Obi, and the reason is simple. He is today arguably the most popular Nigerian politician. You see him at the airport. You see him in the market. You see him wherever he goes. He's very well respected. He lives the life of the people. He lives the life of the common man. He identifies with the people. He identifies with the pains, suffering, the vagaries, the vicissitudes of the ordinary man. Whereas our so-called leaders live in opulence. The First Lady just suggested a couple of days ago that Nigerians should go and start frying akara. Nigerian women, they should fry akara, they should cook corn. My question to her is that if the country was broken the way it is now, she would probably be frying akara somewhere in Lagos. But they had a country that worked for them. Now they're advising the younger ones to go and fry akara. People who read nursing end up as lash tech, as nail tech. People who read engineering end up as keke driver, end up as boat driver, end up as Uber driver. In this country, I have had to drive Uber. I studied industrial mathematics and I was extremely sound when I was in school. The records are there. But I've had to be a teacher, a lesson teacher, a teacher that earns 30,000 a month, a driver, a interstate driver for that matter sometimes. Done businesses, got frustrated in this country. Then found my voice talking about government. And these days now, whatever we do, we have to hide it. Because if you do not hide it, they'll come after it. That is the country we live in. So, the length and breadth of my conversation is Nigerians must retrieve their country from those who are trying to claw it into the ground.
Let's now talk about democratic space and the political contest. High-profile opposition figures have raised concerns that the ruling concerning the cancellation of the NDC threatens Nigeria's multi-party democracy. Is the judiciary narrowing the multi-party space?
Whereas the judiciary has lent itself as a tool to be used, I am concentrating on the person who is using that tool. and that is the APC-led federal government of Nigeria. The executive must remove his hands from judicial processes. The democratic space must not be allowed to shrink. And ultimately, if they do not listen, the Nigerian people must know that in times like this, it is the citizens that protect their democracy. It is the citizens that have to protect their right to elect, not just elect, to hire and fire public officials. The moment that right is taken away from you, we no longer run a democracy. And for those who think it is not possible, I'll give you good examples of where it has happened. In Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's Uganda, the man has been in power for nearly 40 years. They conduct elections on a regular basis. As we speak today, just 2 days ago, a media house like where we are sitting in right now was raided by the military. And the son, who happens to be the chief of defense staff of that country, stated it, that he does not believe in free media. That was the same country that they say freedom of speech can be guaranteed, but freedom after speech cannot be guaranteed. Another good example is Cameroon. As we speak today, the president of Cameroon no longer lives in Cameroon. The president of Cameroon no longer lives in Cameroon. The man is almost in a vegetative state. But he is still the president of Cameroon. Not just the president of Cameroon, he is still winning elections in Cameroon. So Nigerians must beware. They have already floated the idea of a one-term presidency. If they can railroad themselves back into office, intimidating opposition, balkanizing opposition, and destroying all the structures of democracy, you will be shocked that they will announce a 6-year one-term presidency, and they will say the first beneficiary will be the man in office. So that will automatically give a man who ought to spend 8 years in office 14 years. At the end of that 14 years, they will look for something again to extend. Before you know, you have been under the rule of one man for 20 years. They just changed the constitution to allow for state police. How many days did it take them? Less than 48 hours. A constitutional amendment that should take months, if not years, of talking to people, debating, calling for public hearing, going to the state assemblies, calling for public hearing at that level. They did it in less than 48 hours. What do you think they cannot change? So it will depend on the Nigerian to insist that our democracy must work. So, in a nutshell, we can pretend all we want. We can say, in Benin, we say, oh, Makame, it's not my business, all you want. But very soon you will know that politics is your business. Like I told them, politics controls everything. 90% of what you pray for can be solved by the right policies and programs of government, including long life and prosperity. I mean, where else will you go to get long life and prosperity if not looking up to your government? Like I told them in a podcast, and they found it humorous, but there was nothing funny about it. Today, the life expectancy in Nigeria is 54 years. The life expectancy in Canada is 82 years. A Nigerian will die, they will say God called that Nigerian. So God loves Nigerians and hates Canadians. A Ghanaian is 60 years. A South African is 60 years. An Egyptian is 60-something years. I'm not sure now. A German is 79 years. A Nigerian is 54 years. There are many things around here that can kill you. If bandits don't get you, kidnappers will get you. If kidnappers don't get you, Lakurawa will get you. School kidnappings will get you. Even sometimes police will get you. A young journalist was just discovered to have been murdered during the NSAS in Lagos. So you are not safe from anything. Justice Crack went to eat in the heart of Abuja. He was picked up like sweets. We didn't see him. We didn't know where he was. It could have been worse if not for the strength of the Nigerian people. So Nigerians must wake up to this reality. If you say it's not your business, you will soon discover that it's your business. Go to the hospitals. Don't fall sick in Nigeria. It's a good advice now. Excellent advice. Don't fall sick. Do you know the rate of our infant and maternal mortality? The number of pregnant women who die because they want to give birth? Do you know the rate of drug prevalence in Nigeria today? One of the highest in the world. And I just got a report that Edo State ranks very high too. And I hope that the governor is taking note and doing something about it.
Thank you for watching that video. So guys, before you leave, look at it down here. Do well to subscribe and also put on your notification bell so that whenever we upload any video in this great platform, you will be the first to see it. And please don't forget to drop your comment at